Hi there, today I'm going to show you how to make a simple race car game. Now once you've loaded up Scratch and after clicking create, you'll be dropped on this page. I'm going to delete the cat sprite to start with and then we're going to choose and draw our own car sprite. I'm going to choose the colour red, the circle, draw out my circle shape. Then I'm going to choose another colour, I'm going to do black. And then I'm going to draw 4 wheels. This car has got a top view, which is why I'm drawing it like this. You could technically import your own sprite, but I do like drawing my own one for this. I'm going to make a different colour. Let's have, I don't know, a blue helmet. I didn't mean to do it that way. Click away from the object and then change the colour. Let's have a blue helmet. Just going to go here, front of the car, and then I'm just going to use this to create a spoiler at the back. At the front, we'll have a little bit there. So there is my car. Okay, that's done. Now it's already a bit too big, but that's fine. We can change the size by using this. So I'm going to change this to say 70. In fact, even less than that. Let's have 50. That's pretty right. So I've got my car to start with. So we've made our sprite. I'm going to call my sprite car. That's what it is. Make sure you remember to name sprites and variables, etc. correctly. And then what we're going to do, we're going to make the stage next. So I'm going to click on stage. I'm going to click here and click on paint. I'm going to do a very simple background. I converted to a bitmap there to make it easy to use the fill tool. And then I'm going to use the paintbrush tool to draw a grey. Find grey. Here we go. Grey colour for a road. Now I'm going to make my paintbrush quite large. Let's do this, even larger than that. Even larger than that. That's probably about right. 100 seems to be the biggest. So I'm just going to do a very simple road. I'm going to make this a bit bigger so we can get about twice the length. Twice the width, sorry. That's enough. Doesn't have to be perfect, but just gets the idea. So the idea is we're going to start the car over here and then we're going to drive it to the other end as quickly as possible. So that's fine. So I've got my backdrop. I can delete the one I don't need anymore. This is my backdrop. And then I can drag my car onto here. So the basic idea, as I said, is driving the car from here to here. The other thing I'm going to add in a moment is a finish line, but I'll add that momentarily. So the first thing we need to do, of course, is get some controls in for the car. Now, there is a number of different ways of doing this, but I'm going to do it probably the simplest way by just dragging on a few blocks and then dragging on under events, some event blocks to do with keyboard presses. So what I'm going to do is when I push the up arrow, I'd like it to go forwards. When I push the down arrow, I'd like it to go backwards. And in order to go backwards, you have to go minus 10 steps. And then I'd like it to turn right with the right arrow, which is what I've already got attached. And then I'd like it to turn left with the left arrow, or more accurately rotate. And it will rotate on the spot. You can tweak these controls, but this should be the basics. So there we go. So it's moving around. Now you'll see it's moving slightly strangely. It's because of where the costume center is. This is something which we can adjust in the costume. If you use the move tool to drag around the costume, you can move it. You see this little mark in the center of the screen? That is where the center of the screen is. And then that's where you need to make sure you want the center of the object, or the center of the object, or at least where you want it to rotate around. So if you put it in the center, it'd spin on the spot. I'm going to put it slightly forward where the front wheels are. So now I can go back to here, and now as it turns, it's going to turn a little bit more like a car. And so I can move around the track. Now that's fine, but as it stands, it's not really a game because it's a bit too easy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of sensing to make it that we have to stay on the road. Now, what I'm going to do here, this is going to start when the green flag is clicked, when the program starts. And I need this to happen forever because this is something it's going to be checking. And it's going to be checking if I'm touching the green. So I go to sensing, find the color. So if I'm touching the color green, if you hit on this little pipette tool, it's a color picker, then I can choose. It's quite nice that that's gray, that's green, so click on green. So if I'm touching the color green, I want something to happen. So what I want to happen is I want it to reset to where I am now. Now, a little known trick with Scratch is wherever the sprite is, it gives you the coordinates of it. So if I move the sprite, it will change the coordinates. So if you place it where you'd like it to be, those are the correct coordinates. So I'm going to drag that here. And so now, if I run the program, I'm going to move around, and if I purposely go off the screen, it then instantly pops back. It pops back quite quickly, so in order to slow this down, I'm going to just put a little say block for 2 seconds, just to say you've gone off the road, and then that way it won't happen quite as quickly. So now, if I start this up again, good. So now it tells you what's happened. It still jumps you back, but it tells you what happens. Now, the last thing to add in is a finish line. Now, you can add a finish line either as a colored line and sense in a similar way to this, or you could add it as a sprite. Now, I'm going to add it as a colored line, but there are different solutions to this. I'm just going to stop the program. I'm just going to go back to my costumes. Go back to my background and then look at the backdrop. And I'm just going to get a paintbrush. I'm going to change that to 10, because otherwise it can be too long. In fact, I can use a line tool. I'm going to keep it purple just for simplicity's sake. I'm going to drag a line out and let go. And then I've added that color to the background. Now, if I go back to the code for the car, now I'm simply going to be utilizing this piece of code, really. So I'm just going to cheat a little bit and duplicate it. And I want, when it touches the purple line, I'm going to use the pipette tool, the little color picker. That's the color, it's purple. I'd like it to go back to the beginning. I can choose it to go back to the beginning. It could go somewhere else, but I can actually say something different. I actually want it just to say something different and not go somewhere else. And just say, you have won. Now let's just start this again. Now, the only other thing to add to this is a bit of initialization to make sure that when you start the game, by clicking the green flag, the car goes to the right place. So I'm just going to add that in, and I'm going to add this in. So it's this instruction. I'm just going to duplicate that instruction. Don't need that bit, and just add it here. So this is basically when the program starts, it's going to run this bit. So it's going to make sure the car's in the right place before it starts. The game starts. So click go. I'm going to move along, play fairly quickly. And there we go. You have won. It hasn't reset, but if I hit the green flag, it should reset. So that should be enough information for now. The next part of the video, we'll move on to creating this into a collection game.